Hi everyone, my name is Nazym, and today I would like to present you my student research project named Public Perception of the Implementation of Sexual Education Courses for Teenagers at Schools in Kazakhstan. So this is my outline for today, and let's start from the research purpose. So actually, we have two research purposes. The first one is identifying people's perception of the concept of implementing sexual education courses in schools for adolescents aged from 16 to 18 years old in Kazakhstan. And the second one was identifying the responsible person or some kind of institution for the sexual education based on the opinions of the participants again. So as we know, in some foreign countries, they already have sexual education courses for the teenagers in schools curriculums, but in Kazakhstan we don't have such courses. So the main concept was identifying how would Kazakhstani people would react to such an introduction and implementation of such courses in Kazakhstan. So here we consider the significance of the project, and in which Kabatova, in her report in 2018, stated that usually in our country, in Kazakhstan, there are a lot of stereotypes and misconceptions about reproductive life and health, and there are a lot of tacit censorship based on shame. So usually parents in Kazakhstan, they tend to avoid talking about sexual education with their children, and as a result, this leads to frequent cases of teenage pregnancy and the birth of unwanted child, or even abandonment of the newborns in Kazakhstan. So in order to solve that kind of problems, we have decided to identify whether implementation of the sexual education courses for teenagers can solve this problem or not, and how Kazakhstani people would react to such changes. So then we come to the research questions. There are three research questions. What are the attitudes of Kazakhstani people towards implementing sexual education courses for teenagers at school, according to opinions of Kazakhstan? Who should be responsible for the sexual education of adolescents, and which age group has the most positive attitudes? So I have analyzed several literature reviews related to that topic, and I particularly want to mention these two articles. The first one was Slusarenko and Vospanova from 2019. They have conducted a quantitative research among 500 participants from Armenia, Ukraine, and Kazakhstan, and as a result, they have identified that young people, they tend to express more positive attitudes to introduction sexual education lessons in contrast to older people, which is kind of interesting. And why is it interesting? You are going to see a little bit later. And the second one was the survey by rate from 2011 among participants from United States, Canada, and United Kingdom, where he identified whether the lessons of the sexual education were effective in that country and or not. So as a result, we can see that slightly more than a half of Canadians and Americans stated that it was effective, but for British people, only 43% agreed that it was effective. So what about methodology? This research was a mixed research, and questionnaire consists 9 questions, and they were involved with open-ended questions and closed-ended questions in the questionnaire created by Google Forms, and there were in total 52 participants from 18 to 61, and they were divided into 3 groups: young, middle, and elderly, in order to make analyzing of the result process more easier. So in order to analyze quantitative data, I used descriptive and inferential statistics, and in order to analyze qualitative data, I used a semantic analysis and deductive approach, and also some codes, like coding. And according to the result, we can see that here, most of the young people, middle-aged group, and elderly people, they tend to have positive results towards implementing sexual education courses rather than negative one. And there are a lot of, and in the second place, there is a neutral result. And also, both a lot of people agree to allow the children to participate in such courses at school if they would have a chance. And the third one, again, most of them think that these courses will be effective in Kazakhstan, but some of them are not sure about it. So, and who should be responsible for the sexual education of the young people? According to the results, most of the people agreed that the parents should be responsible for that process, and the least voted for state one. And what about the qualitative data that we have analyzed? And we can see that there are a lot of positive, people tend to make a positive, according to codes, people tend to express positive attitudes towards implementing it. But some people also express it worries because they think that these courses may be inappropriate for school learners. So as a conclusion, I want to state that after conducting the quantitative and qualitative questionnaires, it turned out that participants as the independent variable, the age as the independent variable does not affect to the attitudes to this issue, because most of the participants, regardless of their age, expressed a positive attitude. And the group with the highest ratio of positive responses was elderly group. And if you remember the study conducted by Sarenka and Osmanova, my studies kind of contradicts their studies. And even though the group of young people, the responses were more diverse because they were larger number of participants. And regardless of their age, people consider that parents responsible for the process of giving sexual educations for children. And but this topic still needs further research that will involve not only age, but also gender, place of residence, nationality, and field of activity of the participants in order to make a more comprehensible picture of the situations. So thank you for being with me. Thank you.